Women over 60. 6 signs he's giving you real love, not just attention. Why do some women over 60 find themselves saying, "He seemed so caring and attentive, but when I really needed him, he wasn't there"? Because there's a devastating difference between a man who enjoys your company and one who genuinely loves you. And most women don't recognize the signs until they've already invested months of their precious time and emotional energy in someone who was never capable of the depth they deserved. Welcome back to Wise Advice for Elderly. Today, I'm going to share 6 profound signs that distinguish genuine love from pleasant attention. Markers that show when someone has moved beyond enjoying your company to truly cherishing who you are and committing to your happiness and well-being. These aren't obvious romantic gestures or sweet words that anyone can offer. These are the subtle, consistent behaviors that reveal someone's heart has opened to love you completely. As a woman over 60, you've earned the wisdom to recognize authentic love when you see it. And you deserve nothing less than someone who offers their whole heart, not just their available time and charming conversation. But first, if you're ready to understand the profound difference between receiving attention and being truly loved, and want to recognize when someone is offering you the depth of commitment you deserve, hit that subscribe button now. Here at Wise Advice for Elderly, we help you recognize your true worth and identify relationships that honor the magnificent woman you've become. Sign number 1, he cares about your inner world, not just your company. There's a moment in every meaningful relationship when the conversation shifts from "What did you do today?" to "What made you become the woman you are today?" When a man truly loves you, he doesn't just want to enjoy your company. He becomes genuinely fascinated by the inner landscape of your soul, the experiences that carved your character, and the dreams that still make your eyes sparkle when you think no one is watching. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. But when someone genuinely loves you, they don't just want you to show them who you are, they become students of your story, curious about every chapter that created the remarkable woman sitting across from them." Eleanor, 64, felt her heart recognize the difference immediately. "I spent months with Richard having perfectly pleasant conversations about restaurants, travel, current events, and shared activities. But one day I realized that after all those hours of talking, he knew nothing about what actually mattered to me. He didn't know why I became emotional during certain songs, what loss had taught me the most about resilience, or what accomplishment I was most proud of. Then I met James and everything changed. He wanted to understand why I chose my career, what my relationship with my children taught me about love, what fears I was still working through, what hopes I carried for my remaining years. The man who truly loves you asks questions that matter. What experience changed how you see the world? What do you wish you'd known when you were younger? What brings you the deepest sense of peace? He remembers not just your birthday, but the story you told about your childhood birthdays and why they became so important to you. This isn't interrogation or therapy. It's the natural hunger that comes when someone finds your inner world so compelling that surface-level chit-chat feels insufficient. He wants to understand the experiences that created your wisdom, the challenges that developed your strength, the relationships that taught you about love, and the dreams that keep you growing and evolving. When someone cares about your inner world, you feel seen in ways that go far beyond physical attraction or social compatibility. You feel known, understood, and valued for the person you've become through decades of living, learning, and growing into the magnificent woman you are today.
Sign number 2. He shows up consistently during both good times and difficult ones. Here's the brutal truth about dating after 60. It's easy to find men who want to share your good times, but discovering someone who stays present during your challenging moments reveals everything about their character and the depth of their feelings for you. Carl Jung observed, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But when someone truly loves you, they do something even more remarkable. They show up for your complete reality, including the messy, complicated, unglamorous parts that have nothing to do with romance or fun." Think about it. Anyone can be charming over candlelit dinners or exciting during weekend getaways. But what happens when real life intrudes? When you're worried sick about a family member, dealing with health concerns, or facing one of those weeks where everything seems to go wrong at once? Margaret, 67, experienced this difference in the most painful way. David was absolutely wonderful when we were having fun together, romantic dinners, weekend trips, social events where we both looked good and felt happy. But the moment my mother became seriously ill and I needed to spend time caring for her, everything changed. His phone calls became less frequent, his visits practically stopped, and when we did talk, he seemed uncomfortable and eager to change the subject to something more pleasant. That's when Margaret learned something crucial. David loved the version of her life that was entertaining and carefree, but he had no interest in the woman who had real responsibilities, genuine worries, and moments of vulnerability. But with Thomas, when I was going through the most stressful time with my adult son's job loss and depression, he didn't run away from the complexity. He showed up at my door with groceries because he knew I'd been too worried to shop. He sat with me on my couch while I cried about things he couldn't fix and didn't try to. He never made my problems about him or acted like my stress was inconvenient to his enjoyment of our relationship. The man offering real love doesn't vanish when your life stops being fun and easy. He doesn't suddenly become overwhelmed with work when you're dealing with family drama or mysteriously need space when you're going through health concerns that make you less available for entertainment. Instead, he moves closer during difficult times. He offers practical support without being asked. He provides a steady presence that says, whatever you're facing, you're not facing it alone. He understands that loving someone means showing up for their whole life, not just the parts that are pleasant and convenient. This consistency reveals something profound. He loves you as a complete human being whose life includes challenges, responsibilities, and imperfect moments, not just as someone who provides him with enjoyable companionship when everything is going smoothly.
Sign number 3. He integrates you into his real life, not just his social schedule. Picture this scenario. You've been dating someone for 6 months, and while you have wonderful times together, you suddenly realize you exist in a completely separate bubble from his actual life. You've never met his close friends, never been to his home when his children visit, never been included in his regular activities or commitments. You're like a pleasant vacation from his real world, not someone who belongs in it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." But when someone truly loves you, they discover that their happy life feels incomplete without you woven throughout it, not just scheduled into the fun parts. Patricia, 65, lived this painful reality before she understood the difference. "I spent 8 months with Robert having wonderful dates, romantic dinners, and enjoyable weekend trips, but I gradually realized I was completely separate from his actual life. I'd never met his close friends, never been to his home during family gatherings, never been invited to join his regular golf group or volunteer activities. When his friends would call while we were together, he'd step away to talk privately. I was clearly compartmentalized as dating entertainment, not someone being considered for his actual life." Then Patricia met William, and everything changed. Within 3 months, I'd been introduced to his children, included in a family birthday celebration, invited to join his hiking group, and asked to help him choose furniture for his home renovation. He didn't just want to take me places, he wanted me to be part of the places he already went, the people he already knew, the activities that were already important to him. The man offering real love doesn't keep you in a separate dating compartment. He naturally begins including you into his established world because he's starting to envision that world with you permanently in it. You meet his close friends because he's proud to have you in his life. You're included in family gatherings because he sees you as someone who belongs there. You become part of his regular activities because he wants to share the things he loves with the person he's falling in love with. This integration isn't something you have to push for or request. It happens naturally because he genuinely can't imagine keeping someone he loves separate from the life he's actually living. You become a consideration in his decisions not because you're demanding it, but because your happiness and preferences have become important to his own sense of well-being and fulfillment. The beautiful truth is that when someone truly loves you, they don't want to visit you like a tourist in your own relationship. They want to build a shared life where you belong completely, naturally, and permanently in every meaningful aspect of their world. If you're starting to recognize these profound differences between attention and genuine love, give this video a thumbs up. Real love transforms how someone treats you in every aspect of their life.
Sign number 4. He invests in your happiness and growth, not just his own pleasure. Here's a question that reveals everything about someone's true feelings. When he plans your time together, is he thinking about what will make him happy or what will make your heart sing? The difference between these two motivations separates men who use you for pleasant companionship from those who genuinely love and cherish you. Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." When someone truly loves you, they become drawn to a beautiful mystery, discovering what makes you come alive, what fills you with joy, what helps you grow into an even radiant version of yourself. Susan, 68, experienced this awakening when she compared two very different relationships. Michael always planned lovely dates, nice restaurants he wanted to try, movies he was interested in, activities he thought were fun. Everything was pleasant enough, but I slowly realized that our entire relationship revolved around his preferences, his comfort, his idea of entertainment. I was along for his ride, not creating a journey together. But then Susan met Frank and felt something she'd never experienced before. Frank started paying attention to what actually lit me up from the inside. He noticed how my whole face changed when I talked about my grandchildren. So instead of seeing them as interruptions to our time, he started planning activities where they could join us. He saw how I'd gotten wistful talking about how I used to love dancing. So he surprised me by suggesting we take lessons together, something he'd never been interested in before, but he wanted to share it with me because it brought me joy. The man offering real love doesn't just want you to be happy in his presence. He wants you to be happy, period. He pays attention to what makes you feel most like yourself, what activities restore your energy, what dreams you've put aside, what relationships nourish your soul. Then he actively looks for ways to support and encourage those things, even when they don't directly benefit him. Frank continued to amaze Susan. When I told him about the volunteer work I'd been thinking about starting, he didn't complain that it would mean less time together. He encouraged me to pursue it and even helped me research organizations that could use my skills. He celebrated my friendships with other women instead of seeing them as competition for my time. He wanted me to flourish as a complete person, not just be his companion. This investment in your individual happiness and growth reveals something profound. He loves you as a whole person, with your own dreams, needs, passions, and purpose in life. You're not just someone whose role is to enhance his existence. You're someone whose own fulfillment and joy have become genuinely important to his sense of what makes life meaningful and worthwhile. Sign number 5. He communicates about real issues, not just pleasant topics. Here's something most women over 60 have experienced. Dating men who can chat for hours about travel, food, and current events. But the moment you need to discuss anything that requires emotional depth or problem solving, they suddenly become masters of deflection. Let's not ruin a nice evening, they say, or why complicate things with heavy topics? Viktor Frankl observed, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." When someone truly loves you, they discover their why for navigating difficult conversations, because building something real and lasting with you matters more than maintaining superficial pleasantness. Linda, 66, knew exactly what this avoidance looked like. Every man I dated before Charles would immediately shut down or change the subject whenever we hit any topic that might require actual effort to resolve. If I mentioned feeling uncertain about something in our relationship, they'd make jokes or suggest we just enjoy what we have. If we disagreed about anything important, they'd deflect with humor or suddenly remember they had to leave. I realized they wanted all the benefits of my companionship with none of the work that real relationships require. But then Linda met Charles and felt something she'd never experienced before. When we had our first real disagreement about how to handle a situation involving his difficult ex-wife, I braced myself for the usual deflection. Instead, Charles sat down and said, "This matters to both of us, so let's figure it out together." He listened to my concerns without getting defensive, shared his perspective honestly, and we worked it through until we found an approach we both felt good about. The man offering real love doesn't just want you to be happy in his presence, he wants you to be happy, period. He pays attention to what makes you feel most like yourself, what activities restore your energy, what dreams you've put aside, what relationships nourish your soul. Then he actively looks for ways to support and encourage those things, even when they don't directly benefit him. He willing to communicate about real issues shows something profound. He sees you as a genuine partner whose thoughts, feelings, and concerns are important enough to engage with seriously, even when those conversations require effort, vulnerability, and compromise.
Sign number 6. He makes sacrifices for your well-being without keeping score. There's a moment in every relationship when life demands that someone choose between their own comfort and their partner's well-being. And that choice reveals everything about the depth of their love. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost." When someone truly loves you, they discover that experiencing life to the utmost means sometimes choosing your happiness over their own immediate desires. Not with resentment, but with the joy that comes from caring for someone whose welfare has become precious to you. Carol, 69, experienced this profound love in a way that brought tears to her eyes. "When my sister was diagnosed with cancer and needed someone to help her through treatment, I was devastated about having to cancel the vacation James and I had been planning for months. Before I could even figure out how to tell him, he took one look at my face and said, 'What does your sister need, and how can I help?' He immediately offered to drive me there, canceled his own long-awaited fishing trip with his buddies, and spent his vacation helping me care for someone he barely knew, all because he could see how much I needed his support. What moved Carol most wasn't just the sacrifice itself, but how naturally and willingly James made it. He never once mentioned what he was giving up, never made me feel guilty about the change in plans, never acted like I owed him something in return. He made the choice to prioritize my needs over his wants, with such grace that I knew I was seeing real love in action. The man giving you genuine love doesn't keep a mental scoreboard of sacrifices made and favors owed. He adjusts his schedule when you need support, changes his plans when circumstances require it, invests his energy in things that matter to you, not because he has to, but because your happiness has become integral to his own sense of purpose and fulfillment. This willingness to sacrifice reveals that you've transcended being someone he enjoys spending time with and become someone whose well-being is essential to his own happiness and peace of mind. Are you beginning to see how these signs reveal the profound difference between attention and genuine love? Leave a comment below about which sign resonates most with your experience.
These 6 signs reveal something profound about mature love. It's not about butterflies and passion. It's about someone choosing to cherish your whole reality, invest in your complete happiness, and build something lasting together. When you experience real love rather than pleasant attention, you feel the difference immediately. You feel valued for who you are, not entertained for what you provide. Why recognition matters at this stage? At 60 and beyond, your time and heart are precious resources. You've lived long enough to know the difference between what feels good temporarily and what sustains you deeply. These signs help you distinguish between men offering genuine partnership and those providing pleasant companionship while you wait for something real. Trust actions, not potential. The most crucial lesson: believe what you observe, not what you hope might develop. When someone consistently demonstrates these behaviors, they're showing real love. When these signs are missing, no amount of patience will create the depth you deserve. Don't invest your precious years hoping attention will transform into love. It rarely does. Your worth and your choice. You've spent decades becoming an extraordinary woman who deserves extraordinary love. When someone cares about your inner world, shows up during difficulties, integrates you into their real life, invests in your happiness, communicates honestly about challenges, and willingly makes sacrifices for your well-being, they're offering something rare, genuine love that honors both who you are and who you could become together. If this video helped you recognize the difference between attention and authentic love, make sure to subscribe to Wise Advice for Elderly and share this with a woman who needs to understand her true worth. Let me know in the comments which sign feels most crucial to you, and remember, you deserve someone who doesn't just enjoy your company, but truly cherishes your heart. Remember, magnificent woman, you've become someone worthy of deep, genuine love through decades of living, learning, and growing. Don't settle for pleasant attention when you deserve someone's whole heart. Trust these signs, honor your worth, and choose relationships that celebrate the remarkable person you've become.